Hey guys, welcome back. It's been a while. How you doing, David?
Dude, World Cup. I don't know if I could be happier. This has been fantastic.
Yes, today, guys, we are talking, of course, the FIFA World Cup in Qatar. It's finally here, and the last what has it been like 5 days now,
I think it's been a week now because I think it started
or
like
7
Sunday.
days. Oh,
Yeah.
you're right. Yeah, it's been a week. Last 7 days have been nuts. We already have one team eliminated. The host nation Qatar is eliminated. Which
Canada's statistically eliminated too, I think.
yeah, I mean, it,
Yeah, but we feel worse for Qatar because they're the host nation. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's going to take a lot for Canada to get up or get out into the knockout stage. But today we're going to focus on, of course, the U.S. games and in their group, and so starting out with the first games. What was that on Monday? Um, we had England beat Iran 6-2. And then that made everybody scared of England.
Yeah.
Honestly, everybody's like, okay, England's gonna run away with this thing. Um, and then USA Wales. Let's talk about that game. That ended in a 1-1 draw. With a goal from Tim Weah and Gareth Bale from penalty spot. So, um, thoughts, David? Can you start?
Yeah. Let's go with initial thoughts first. Um, so you're absolutely right. So with England crushing Iran like that, all of a sudden everyone was like, this was every American's thought initially. Okay, so we can't win against England. We got to tie
Mm-hmm.
against Wales, lose to England, beat Iran. That's how we get out of this group. And then when England crushed Iran like that, we're like, oh man, seriously, we really got to do all we can against Wales because England's going to be rough. And so when we came in and we pretty much dominated the midfield, we pushed them back at every moment, and we beat them to every loose ball. Like we won every single 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
I was very happy. And then I have my own thoughts afterwards. So I guess what I'm saying is
Yeah.
initially I was very impressed. I was like, fantastic job, US. You're doing great. This is exactly what we need. Now put it away.
Yeah,
So
no, I have the same thoughts. Like we looked really strong in that game, and I felt like we could do we could have done really or a lot better against Wales. Um, but with that, let's dive into it a little bit.
yeah.
Um, so I mean, Tim Weah's goal came in the 36th minute, um, and was brilliant actually. That assist from Pulisic was just nuts.
Hmm.
Um, and so I mean, with that being said, and this has been the U.S.'s weak point ever since we have gone through this restructure through the last like 3 years,
Hmm.
where we picked up all the youngsters, and totally like cleared out the old USA team.
Yeah, move on the
Um,
old guard finally. Pick up
yeah,
the youngsters. It
yeah,
started
and
off rough,
so
but it's been going great. I love the players.
yeah. I mean, so we Ray was saying it really well when I was talking to him earlier today. Like we look really good. Our
Mhm.
play our interplay is really good within the midfield, and then we run a high block um with the strikers in the midfield, like closing the center of the pitch and forcing everybody outwards. So we do that really well, and it looks really good. But our problem is the final third.
Yeah.
That ball in, or that we're missing that assist every single time. The ball in, or that last pass, or even a lot of the times just that tap in, or um, just like a shot outside of the box. So we are struggling scoring. But this Tim Weah goal is showed the whole world that we can score. We can do this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So to continue that thought, I absolutely agree. Our midfield was fantastic. We looked like we could pass it around the midfield way better than we ever have. Even with Beckerman, who moved the ball really well. Like this passing is so much beyond that. Like, and we have Adams who passes and gets back on defense. We have McKennie who kind of frustrates me a little, but great passer. Like we have some good passers, and even our wingers, like they play midfield too. Like Pulisic can play anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so and I think, but I guess what I'm saying is that's part of the problem is we're not playing a striker. Like Weah could be a striker, but he's playing out wide. You have some other guys who I can't remember his name who started off as a striker for this
Josh
one.
Sargent.
Sargent, yeah, who
Yeah.
he played striker for, like he's a midfielder that got converted to striker in Germany, and he scored a
Yeah.
lot before he moved. And I don't think he's actually a striker, but I think that given the right circumstances, he'll do all right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this this has been just kind of frustrating that they can't like put together what's needed in the final third, because with so much control, so much buildup, and so much intensity, you think at least they'd get in crosses, but they don't even have crosses. Something
Yeah.
I've been noticing though, because a lot of these teams don't have the buildup play. Also, this has been happening all across the World Cup. They basically stack the center of the pitch. So instead of playing like this wide, the defenses play this wide, and that gives like space to move around for the
Mm-hmm.
offenses to move around on the and also get it to the wings. But then like if you try going through the center, it doesn't work out very well.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of happened against Wales. Wales played a pretty strong center with just like a couple wide guys, and it was only like you said, like a great pass by Pulisic. I keep saying Pulisic differently because I've heard it every way, but a great pass by Pulisic, um, and a Welsh defense that kind of like let Weah get in behind. But
Mm-hmm.
fantastic finish by Weah. I just think that we needed more of a presence up at the top that actually let us like build around something,
Mm-hmm.
or even put in crosses. Like so, we could have put in crosses and forced the Welsh defense to respect like getting in behind. Then anyway, I don't know the answer because truthfully that's the U.S. coach's problem, but it just didn't look good, and it's indicative of something that's been going on for a long time. And that if we a little foreshadowing happened against England as well. Same thing happened.
Yeah.
Great in multiple portions of the pitch, but not in the final third.
Yeah. I think so. The big question that came out of this game, like straight after, was why was Jordan Morris subbed in and not Gina
G-
Reyna?
Giovanni Reina, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know why that happened. It should have been Reyna, and I feel um, like I don't know.
So
And
real quick,
go
this
ahead.
this feels to me like I was kind of frustrated when this became the central talking point,
Okay.
because that means two things. One, it means that the locker room is not nearly as cohesive as it should be.
Mm-hmm.
The locker room needs to be more cohesive. We're at the World Cup. It's not pre-World Cup. We're here. It's go
Mm-hmm.
time. We need to set aside all our differences. You could talk about it later. Let's get this going. Secondly, it I don't think that it mattered. Like I love Giovanni Reina as a player. I watch him at Borussia Dortmund a bunch. He looks really good. Uh, I don't know if having another man out wide would have solved the issues that we had.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's kind of like a dud argument. Like I think I agree that it's important to address. I just don't know if we need to address it now.
Yeah.
I
I
I
think
yeah.
Well, I think the U.S. has the right idea. I think a
Hmm.
lot of teams have the right idea with um, playing this 4-3-3 style and having like really fast wingers, because that's the name of the game nowadays. You
Yeah.
you you have like really good wing backs and really good wingers, and then you have this this false nine striker like drop into the midfield, take and bring up passes to draw in the center backs, and then like what, because we see it with like Holland is perfect at this at Man City. You see, he comes into the midfield. He like takes a couple balls, does a couple passes. He throws off the groove of the center backs, like marking him, and then he makes a dead sprint back to the center, and
Yeah.
no one can keep up marking him. He just finds a lane. He disappears. He gets like a small dink head that ends up in the goal, or he creates space and then like goes in behind. So I mean, that's like a lot of these teams, including US, like I said, have the right idea of doing it. It's just finding that or having that perfect number 9 to be able to do what basically Holland does.
Yeah, I was talking to a buddy about this recently, and our conclusion, and I've been arguing this for years, is just so maybe it's not our conclusion, maybe it's just my normal argument, but um, you have to find a system that works with your team, like all the players. And on the international game, that's a little more difficult because for example, Canada was running a 4-4-2 in this last game, but they didn't have they had like a 30-something-year-old midfielder who was
Mm-hmm.
trying to cover the midfield, and he just couldn't be everywhere at once. He was dead. So I think that you're right. That's like one of the best ways to break down the game. And if you notice, a lot of the other teams in the World Cup are doing this. In years past, a lot of these, I'm not going to say lesser nations, but nations with lesser renown might be the way to say it, lesser soccer renown. They would sit back and just counter. But now everyone's
Yeah.
doing a high press, and
Mm.
they all have like some fairly fast and dangerous players. Like
Yep.
they're almost every team. You're like, oh, they actually do have a dangerous player. We got to be careful.
Yeah.
Uh, and and they're forcing the other teams to play differently. So I like it, but also that means that like say that like the U.S. we kept getting into these positions where Wales was on its heels. Wales was dropped back. At that point, we have to come up with a different game plan because trying to get it in behind them when they're in a deep block is not going to do anything.
Yeah.
We push them back into a block, and then we're like, okay, well, here we are. What do we do? And we just seen
Yeah.
lack of imagination. We couldn't get it
Mm-hmm. It's
in the
true.
midfield because they had too many numbers in the midfield. And I don't know. So I guess what I'm saying is there's bigger problems as well that are in my mind are coaching problems. Like in my mind,
Mm-hmm.
it's saying like, hey, we're there. Now you got to take the final step. Just take that final step and actually do something creative in front of the goal. Don't make it so Christian Pulisic has to do something magical every time. Just pull it out or something like that.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. So I want to go back to a comment that you made. You said that Weston McKay frustrates you. Why is
Yeah, yeah. I saw that you kind of reacted to that. Yeah.
that?
I love his play. So let me explain
Mm-hmm.
my position better. So that way, if you disagree or do agree, you can go with it. I love his play. I just feel like his attitude, like he's always on the verge of being frustrated with, like he's always on the verge of being petulant, of like being like, hey, this is not going my way. Why is this happening? But I think his play is fantastic. More to the point, though, I think his play could be better in Juventus. Like one of the things he does best is he arrives late in the box and he puts away chances or he causes problems that wouldn't be there. He wasn't even near the box today, or any time the U.S. has played. Like he wasn't
Yeah.
anywhere near the box, and so that's U.S.'s problem in general. The reason that he frustrates me though is because of his attitude. His play is fantastic. It's just you can see that like he's always on the verge of being like, hey, what why are you doing this to me? And I'm like, whatever. So, but like
All right.
I love his play. So I really want to clarify that. I think his
Yeah.
play is great, and it could be better because it could be if he was taken advantage of more. If like the U.S. coach put him in the
Mm-hmm.
position to actually do it. If he organized the team in a way to actually uh, take advantage of the fact that Weston McKennie runs his tail off and gets in the box, which is very
Mm-hmm.
dangerous.
Yeah. Um. On that note, let's talk. Let's still be deep into U.S. right now. Tactics wise. We can start with you again, David. What do you think the U.S. needs to change out of formation wise, tactic wise, player wise to like, well, I, yeah, to beat Iran and maybe like beat whoever would play in round 16.
Okay, so you're absolutely right. Let me put two situations forward. So one is if we were playing against a team like Wales or England again, where we thought that we weren't able to, we didn't want to overextend, but at the same time, we're like, okay, this is a tricky game. What we need to do is we need to overload certain positions. So instead of just passing the ball back and forth, if we have 3 or 4 players out wide on a certain side, use that and work yourself around, and that way you can like get behind them and then do a cross the field ball. And in that instance, we have to have someone making that run into the box, like behind the line. So the answer is overload in the wide positions, and then have a striker ready to put it away. Against Iran, I think that we're actually just a better team. So I'm in my mind, I think that if we just own the midfield, so Iran should be running a 4-4-2. If that's the case, our 4-3-3 with all our great control players, we should own the midfield, and we just need to do some passes through while our wide players cut through. So we need a central pivot, and the wide players just cut through, and let's say like you hit Pulisic on a glancing run, just like almost like what Pulisic did with Weah, except we need to do that from the midfield. So if we do that, we'll score. We'll have like 4 good chances if we do that, and 4 chances that should be goals. If we put those away, we'll win easily. If we don't, we're gonna have problems.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that's very specific, but the answer is against Iran, I say we do what we're doing, but just make sure that like we have that striker pushing their center backs back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think against Iran we need to play a 4-3-3.
Mm-hmm.
A lot more attacking, and have. I think we need an attacking midfielder.
Yeah.
To ensure that I guess that false 9 area. To help out the striker. And so go ahead.
We have someone like Adams in the back as the defensive mid. We have other guys like McKennie who are kind of shuttling all over. How do you feel about Brendan Aronson? Have you watched him play at Leeds?
So I was going to mention that I would prefer Aronson start over Musa, because you see how fast Aronson is and how quick he is to like grab the ball and just go forward. Like that's the attacking that we need. We don't need that late in the game as the sub. We need him like straight away.
Yeah, we need him to like break down the lines and to cause problems. Yeah, I completely agree.
So I think
Musa was just kind of like we worried about England and Wales, and so we put a very hardworking midfield in there. But against Iran, we need like a little bit more depth, movement, and attacking impetus between the lines.
Yeah, for sure. So I think I know we can't risk anything with playing against Iran, but we have to win. But I think Berhalter needs to play more attacking, and just take it to Iran, because I mean, like we did that against Wales, and we just couldn't finish. I mean, that was the only problem. Like we played really well, and then, I mean, I guess the other problem is Zimmerman making that stupid tackle.
Yeah, that was a stupid thing. Real quick. So you brought up Berhalter, and I'd like to mention, I think that his attitude is kind of rubbing off on the players, and he'll say, "Hey, what's your attitude? My attitude is being calm." No, your attitude is not taking chances. Like at the end of the England game, that there was literally no time on the clock. We had a free
everybody kick. I've talked to is pissed off about that.
Yeah, we had a free kick. We could have put it between the defensive line and the goalie.
Just launch it in there.
Just see what happens.
Because the whistle's going to be blown anyway. So
yeah, it's not like it's like 2 minutes left. It's literally like 10 seconds left.
The last kick, yeah.
The last kick, and instead he's like the corner. Yeah, so he's like, "Oh, I'm calming the players down." No, you're telling them to be afraid. You're telling them not to take a chance. That's what you're doing. And
Yeah.
and I think it's rubbing off and showing in every aspect of the game. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't like criticizing coaches too much because like there's so much of the game that we don't experience on the side. You know, we're watching, we're backseat drivers.
Mm-hmm.
But I he could be doing great in every other instance. I think he is because like the young players, they look great. They look like they're doing things that U.S. team hasn't done before. But also, anyone watching it can see that the team is scared to get in there and do something that might do something great or might have an accident. And you can't be scared in this sport. Like I don't know. Just remember that Atletico Madrid only did good for so long, and I love Atletico Madrid, but like you can only play defense and win
Mm-hmm.
for so long. So
Yeah.
you have to play defense, and then when the chance comes, you have to take it. You have to go for it.
Yeah. I think touching up or let's move to the England game since we talked about that last free kick. Um, I think we did, and you're talking about being really good defense at Atletico. We did really well, like with the high block and making the pitch narrow against England because we were
Hmm.
forcing them out wide, and then either like Pulisic, Weah, and Robinson and Dest were like on the wingers, like flies the
Yep.
honey. And so but then once like either like McKenny, like if they tried to put if we put too much pressure on them and then like McKenny like popped up a little bit and then space opened up for Rice or someone, like you saw Rice just like recognize that space immediately, drop in, ball went in the middle, and then England were on the attack like
Yeah.
in a split second. And then I felt like, I don't know what your opinion on this is. I felt like in our final third defensively, we are not that well. We're not that good because I felt, well, at least against England, from what I saw, I felt like once like England got on the counterattack, we were frantic and scared.
Oh
And
yeah, on the counter.
yeah,
Um,
and
yeah.
so like once they broke our high line and then they started moving and passing around, it looked like our defense was frantic and like trying to find positioning, and we're all over the place.
And that's something that the U.S. has always dealt with. Like when we're defensive enough, we don't actually need to worry about that. But like anytime we've been attacking and we get countered, it's always scary because I'd like to mention one thing. I was gonna jump into this later, but one thing I'd like to say is England. If you look at their attackers, they have so many scary attackers. Guess what I wasn't scared of though. Like none of their attackers scared me. In that game against the U.S. Like they looked like they should, but they're only like 2 or 3 chances where I'm like, oh wow, that's scary, and then nothing happened.
It's true.
So you're right on the counterattack they look scary, but every other time they didn't look scary. Here's my two main takeaways from the game. One, how many times did you see Harry Kane playing central mid? He did nothing to affect the game other than play central mid. He as a striker, he had that one chance, I guess, but
That
and
header,
then
yeah.
yeah, and it was far enough away from him that he was here, the ball was here, and like he had to bend like this just to even touch it. So like he didn't have like a clean, like it wasn't here. He could just like direct it. He
Yeah.
had to really reach to get it, and that's why it was not a good one. So he had one chance, and I'll give him that. The rest of the time, he didn't. As a striker, he did nothing. It was only the central mid. Second thing is what my earlier point was, which is that for all England's attackers, all the big names, they didn't seem very scary on the wings. Like they mostly just had it back. Like who had the highest rating? I think it was Maguire. And you know what? Before the game, I was watching this game with my buddy, and I was like, you know who we need to attack is we need to attack Trippier and Maguire. And
Mm-hmm.
guess what? Maguire had the highest rating. That's not a good sign for England. I'm just gonna
Nope.
put that out there because he's not good. He's not good. He like
No.
if you tell him to head the ball for like 3,000 hours, he just heads it just like this. He can do that. He'll have 3 concussions and he won't even have noticed. But
I'm pretty sure that's the only reason why he's on the team as far as
yeah,
headers.
yeah. But he shouldn't have the highest rating. That just means that like so maybe the US was attacking him. I think mostly just like we were attacking him in the way that we were like, hey, you know who we want to have the ball is Maguire. And so we don't want Stones to have the ball. Stones had great passing, great play out. But like we would like kind of like focus the field so that Maguire would be the one who'd end up with the ball. Yeah. So I think we did well there, actually.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Like we did really a lot better than I thought we would.
We didn't lose 3-0 or anything.
Yeah. We didn't lose, which is good. But I mean, honestly, my take from that game is I think we let that one go.
Yeah, I agree.
Like we could have easily won that game. I mean, not easily, but I mean with the chances we had and how much that we came out to play. I can't speak right now. How much we came out to play, and the chances we had, we should have won that game.
Yeah, I same thing with Wales. I think we had more chances. We won the 50-50s, and my main problem was the final third. We didn't look too dangerous very often. But if we could have overloaded and forced England to like really Trippier, like he went from Tottenham to Atletico Madrid and now he's at Newcastle. The only reason he's in the England squad is because of his delivery. Like that's the only reason he's there. So if we could have taken advantage of that, we could have really put pressure on them, but we never overloaded any of those. We never overloaded out wide at all. So I understand that there's risks, so I'm not gonna talk about it too much. I understand there's risks. Like the more people you get off the field, the more exposed we are. So I get that, but yeah, mostly my main point is I agree with you. We could have gotten something from it other than a 1-1 draw. I'm glad we didn't lose, but we actually should in this group. If we had any finishing whatsoever, we would have beat Wales and we would have beat England. That's just the truth.
Yep. So I think if we had the Pulisic when he first signed for Chelsea, how in form he was and like how he stepped into Hazard's shoes, like and how like his finishing back then, like I think just that would have compensated for the lack of finishing for the US.
I agree, but we need to get the ball to him in the box or around the box. We can't get him the ball like a third of the way or half the way up the field and then ask why he's not scoring goals. That's not on him at this point. I agree that if he was more in form right now, it would be completely different. Like he would have done things very differently. But like you can't ask him to take on like 3 or 4 players and then score. Like he needs to get in the box, take one person on and shoot.
Yeah, he's not the 2016 Aiden Hazard from Chelsea, just taking on 5 Arsenal defenders and still scoring.
Yep.
But yeah,
great
so
point.
all right, let's move on from the US talk here and let's get into the groups here and look at what games are coming up and what teams are at risk and make some predictions.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so Group A, we got Netherlands with 4 points, Ecuador 4 points, and Senegal 3. So Ecuador and Senegal face off in the game tomorrow. So, what are you thinking, David?
Real short. I don't think Netherlands have looked nearly as good as they should. So I think that Ecuador, Senegal doesn't have Mane. I think Ecuador can do something and win, and then it'll probably be Ecuador and Netherlands.
Same, I agree. Unless Senegal, really comes forward in that game. I know they have a great defense.
Yeah,
I guess it's the same as the US, like great defense, but they can't finish because they're lacking their star player Mane. So.
Yeah, real quick before we do any more predictions, what I'd like to point out is that this is where the crunch comes. So the first game was all the energy. This game, like other than Canada and Qatar, this game is where everything's decided. So to get out of the group. So So the first game was intense, and this next game will be intense. I don't think people are going to be playing scared. I think it's just going to be crazy. So I'm excited.
Yeah, everybody's going to be going all out, especially with how close the groups are this World Cup. So
yeah, so
all
like
right.
Senegal is going to have to come out and try to win because they know that
Mhm.
that tying is not going to be good enough.
Yeah. All right. So Group B, similar situation. England 4 points, but Iran 3 points, USA 2 points, and then Wales pretty much out because they're facing England.
So actually, I told my buddy I wouldn't be surprised if Wales treated this game kind of like, you know, how college football rivalries, like, you know, to be the worst team in the world against the best team, but because it's like a rivalry game, you just don't know. And so I actually think Wales might do well. They might shock England.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if they pull US and they tie England, but I mean the USA we have to win
Yeah,
to
so
get through. So
I'm predicting US beats Iran, which
mhm.
puts US in the, you know, in there. So that means it's US and someone, and I think it's going to be England. Even if Wales does well, which I hope
Mhm.
they do, I think it's going
Yeah.
to be England or England first, then US.
Okay. Here's a weird scenario, and it's pretty easy to see this. We beat Iran, 4-0. England and Wales tie, and so we're tied with goal differential on England.
Yeah, I
But
don't know what the
we tied in our head-to-head game.
I don't know what the next
So
decider is though. It goes from like deciders that make sense to deciders that don't make sense
yeah.
really quickly. So there's like, you know, points, then goal differential, and then I'm not sure.
Well, because it says like goals for and goals against, so it
I
might go
think
into
that's the
that.
next thing. Yeah, I think the
Because
next thing.
we tied in that head-to-head game, so that's out of the picture too. So
I think it's goals for next though, and so I think that like I think England would
yeah,
go, would be
yeah,
up.
because they crushed Iran. So
Yeah, so we'd have to beat Iran by 6 just to make sure.
yeah,
I don't know if we're up to that.
no, probably not. All right. So England, US moving on, and then Group C, we got Poland 4 points, Argentina 3, Saudi 3, and then Mexico's pretty much out. So
Oh, you say that, but you just never know what's going to happen. Who's Mexico playing?
uh, Saudi.
Yeah, so that means if they win, uh, you know, they could be going through. You know, anyway. I think the Poland Argentina game is going to be super interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really want Argentina to be rewarded for how poorly they played
Yeah.
earlier, but I think that they'll win, and so I think it's going to be Argentina, Poland probably. Poland is 4 points. That's enough, I think, to
Do you
keep them up.
think so? We can reasonably assume every team is playing to win. Um, but do you think Argentina, like coaching staff, are going to be keeping an eye on like the other game to see what
Oh,
happens, and then
are,
make
are, they,
subs
are
accordingly?
they're not doing them all at the same time, right?
Oh, they're not.
I don't think so. Let's see. So I think that
Oh,
like the
I'm probably wrong. I'm used to like Prem doing that.
yeah, the Prem does that a bunch. So I think that they're gonna be playing. Yeah, so like Argentina. When is that?
Oh, they are playing at the same time.
So they're playing 2 games at 8 and then 2 games at 12. So yeah, it looks like they're doing the groups at the same time. I didn't
Oh,
realize that.
they're doing that on purpose for the excitement. I knew it.
Yeah.
I had a
Um,
feeling.
yeah, I think they'll keep their eye on it, but I don't think they'll like you know how like in the Premier League, like they'll hear like fans like yell for
Mm-hmm.
no reason. They'll be like, oh, something happened. So I think that's what will go on. I still think that this is gonna be crazier than you think because
Mm-hmm.
Poland knows that if Saudi Arabia beats Mexico, and then they can't even tie with. I'm just saying they have to
It's
be really
true.
careful.
Yes, because
So
because Saudi will have 6 points.
yeah,
Um, and
so
so
Poland can go from the top of the group to like not making it if they're not
yeah,
careful. So I'm gonna say Poland and Argentina, but this is crazier than you think.
yeah. I don't know. Um, hold on. Did Saudi tied their last game, right?
Uh, So they
'Cause
beat
they beat
Argentina,
Argentina.
and then it was. I think that was it. They just lost the rest. So they lost against
Oh, Poland.
Poland, and
Yeah, too.
yeah. Lewandowski found his form finally. Your dad,
Yeah,
Charles would
finally.
enjoy that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Like, cause if you look at it this way, Mexico is um I guess they have everything to play for, but they have nothing to lose.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. So if you could almost assume, let's say Mexico wins, let's just give them that,
mhm,
okay?
that's
Then that
4
means they're going
points,
to be on 4 points,
and
and
Saudi's out.
the goal differential, like Poland's up on goal differential, so yeah, it just depends on like what happens in the Poland Argentina game. So it's
Yeah.
almost like, what do you think happens in that game? And I think it's not as clear as you think, because Poland actually has a striker now, and Argentina,
Mhm.
they basically relied on Messi. Like that was the
Yep.
only reason. And let me tell you, they've been getting calls that I don't think the other teams would be getting right now. So
Yeah. Same.
we'll see if that continues.
Um,
You still haven't
I'm
made your choice.
I'm gonna call a draw against Poland and Argentina, and
Okay.
then Mexico beating Saudi. But
Okay. So the
then
goal differential, that would be Poland and Argentina getting through.
yeah, and then Mexico still being out because
Yeah.
GD. So that's good. That's a crazy group right there. That's nuts.
Yeah.
All right, Group D.
Um, so we got France, Australia, Denmark, and Tunisia.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to take your go
No,
for it.
you're good. You're good. So France has 6 points.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, Australia is keeping up. So, um, where are the games?
It's Australia versus Denmark, I think. No, hold on. What was I looking at? Yeah, so Australia versus Denmark and Tunisia against France.
So Australia like has to win.
Yeah, because if Denmark wins, then that's
Yeah.
just it.
So if they win, they're in.
Yeah, did you see the Denmark
So,
France game?
mhm.
Yeah, I think Denmark looked better than I know that they've done well against France this last year. They've
Mhm.
won twice against them already. I think they can beat Australia. So my guess is France and Denmark.
Yeah, I'll go with that too. So France, gosh, with it boggles my mind with how many players France has lost. I mean, their group is not all that hard,
No, it's not.
comparatively, but
That's why
co-
it's, that's why it's the easiest one to guess, and it's still tricky.
yeah, but compared to every other group, like they're going to end up with 9 points out of
Yeah.
the group. So
Yep.
yeah, I'll go with that. France, Denmark. All right, Group E. We got Spain, Japan, Costa Rica, and Germany. Germany 1 point, Costa Rica 3 points, Japan 3 points, Spain 4 points. Um, gosh, it keeps changing the games on me.
So Spain has to play against Japan,
Yeah,
and
Spain, Japan.
Costa Rica, Germany.
Um, so that works in Germany's favor.
Yeah.
So I think it's Germany wins, they're in, right? And
Uh,
and Spain beats Japan.
I think so. As long as
Let's
Spain,
see
if
this
Spain
here.
beats Japan for sure.
Because then Germany have 4 points.
Yeah.
They'll go through.
But I think
Japan
that,
has to lose.
yeah,
And
I think this is a trickier group than people realize, because Japan is gonna play really good against
mhm,
Spain, really stout. In Costa Rica, this is the best they've ever done. Germany's gonna come out guns blazing. You know,
mhm.
we didn't talk about the Germany Spain game, but the reason that Germany did well was because they actually put in a striker. I know that
Yeah,
I was wondering if you're going to say something
Volker.
about Kai Havertz earlier, but they put in a striker, and the striker is the one that changed the game.
Mhm.
So I don't I if they start with a striker, Germany can beat Costa Rica. I think they can beat them anyway. So I think it's going to be Germany and Spain, but that's just me hoping, because I want
Yeah.
Spain to go through.
Yeah, but if Japan pulls off a miracle and ties Spain, then they're in. So, well, it depends how many goals Germany beats Costa Rica by.
Yeah, everything depends on that.
And so if they tie them, if Japan ties Spain and then Germany just beat Costa Rica by 2, then Japan's out.
I think Japan has to win because Spain would have 5 points, Japan would only have 4.
Yeah, but Germany would have 4.
Yeah, but Spain would have 5, so it would be Spain-Germany, I think, in that sense. I think if Japan beats Spain, that's where things get crazy.
No, because Japan will have 4 points, and then Germany beats Costa Rica. Germany will have 4 points.
Yeah, but if Spain ties, they get another point as well, so they go up to 5 because they're at 4 right now.
Yeah, so Spain's in no matter what right now.
No, I don't think so.
It's just you don't think so?
I think Japan can beat them.
Interesting. Okay.
Japan beat Germany. Okay, I'd rather Spain win, so I'm not going to say anything else. Okay.
All right. I don't know. I'm going to stick with the favorites and go Spain, Germany.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense to me. I'll go crazy. Hold on. Let me change it. I'll go crazy. Say Spain, Costa Rica because I really want to see Costa Rica through. Okay, moving on though. Moving on.
That'd be devastating for Germany. That'd ruin the reputation for the next 4 years. That'd be nuts. All right, Group F. Croatia 4 points, Morocco 4 points, Belgium 3 points, and Canada is out.
Yeah, so Canada's out.
Gosh, 4-4-3. Holy crap!
Yeah.
Who plays who?
So we got on Thursday, we've got Canada, Morocco, and Croatia, Belgium, which that game is going to be nuts. Canada, Morocco, you don't even know what will happen there because Morocco has a better team than you think. Like, do you know who's on the Moroccan team? Let me get their last game. Sorry. Gosh, why am I having trouble with this? So when they played against Belgium and won 2-0, they had Sofiane Boufal, who's good, Hakim Ziyech. They have Hakimi in the back, Romain Saiss, who plays for is it Newcastle? I can't remember, or maybe he just moved. He used to play for an English team. Sofiane Amrabat, who's really good. They have Mazraoui on the wing, who plays for Bayern. They have a good team. Just saying.
I mean, like this is the anything can happen group.
Yeah, Canada's out, but other than that, it's a
I mean,
Canada has to be out because even if they win, they're only at 3, and that means Croatia and
I know, but like mathematically, they still have a chance. Like
how?
If Canada wins and Belgium loses, so if Canada beats Morocco by 4 goals and Belgium loses,
no, I'm just saying based on points, Canada can only get 3 points.
I know,
and they're at 0, and you already have 2 teams at 4. So if they go up to 3,
right.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, yeah, they're already out. Good point.
Yeah, but it's still crazy because like everyone,
that gap between those 3 teams is like fine margin.
Oh yeah,
and it's only because of the poor form of Belgium.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
And did you see the comment that Kevin De Bruyne made about the Belgium team? Yeah, he says we missed our chance to shine in 2018. We're not as good as we were back then. And
he's right.
And something, but then I think he says like we don't have a chance in like the group stage or the knockout stage.
I don't know. Dude, they're playing against Croatia, and Croatia, like they made Canada look bad, and Canada actually has a bunch of really good players. Like I don't think their tactics were good, but Croatia made them look bad. So I'm gonna say Croatia and Morocco. Actually, I don't even think
Interesting.
Belgium's getting out. Yeah, I think Croatia ties or beats Belgium, and I think
Yeah, it's
Morocco can beat Canada.
yeah. I mean, I'll go for a tie with Croatia and Belgium, and then yeah, Morocco
Yeah,
has to beat Canada.
yeah. So if
I think
Croatia and
it has
Belgium
to. So
tie, if Croatia and Belgium tie,
and Morocco tops group
Morocco, you
if they win.
could. The goal differential, I think, though, is for Croatia at the moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but if Croatia tie and Morocco win, Morocco tops
Oh,
group.
they'll have a
Besides,
better goal differential, probably. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, dude. Like I said, anything can happen. Who knows?
it's
I'm just
nuts.
mostly talking about what I want to happen more than.
All right, let's go to Group G. It's Brazil 3, Switzerland 3, Cameroon 0, Serbia 0. So I
Yes,
mean,
they haven't played their
oh
next
yeah,
game.
they play tomorrow. That's why. Yeah.
Yeah, so Brazil's playing Switzerland, and Cameroon is Serbia. So those are
Yeah.
the next couple games.
Um. Yeah,
So
I don't think
these
Switzerland has a
next two groups
chance.
will be trickier because we don't have as much information.
Yeah, I don't think Switzerland has a chance against Brazil though. Um, and Cameroon, Serbia. I think Cameroon will win that one.
Dude, I have a soft spot in my heart for Serbia though because they have Mitrovic and
Oh,
Vlahovic.
yeah.
But Cameroon has Choupo-Moting, who's been playing. He's been on fire.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. Yeah, like Serbia has such a good team. They have like Dusan Tadic and Milinkovic Savic. Two
Mm-hmm.
Milinkovic Savic's actually, because the goal also Milinkovic Savic. Then they have Pavlovic, and he was the angry one that looked like he was going to take bites out of everyone. Yeah, and then Milinkovic, who I think he plays for Fiorentina. Yeah. So I don't know, man. I think are we doing the whole group still, even though we don't have enough information?
We can just do this next game for these groups.
Okay. Yeah, Brazil wins and Serbia wins in my mind, which
Okay.
puts Brazil probably coming out of that group because Brazil will have 6 points.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they got the lineups or predicted lineups.
I think I have the predicted lineups. Usually they don't do lineups until an hour before, but maybe it's
Voting.
actual lineups because maybe in the World Cup they have to give information sooner. I don't know. Like Switzerland has Mbolo, who's pretty good, Real Mbolo, like Shaqiri, who is not he's there.
Can't believe he's still there, still playing.
Yeah, but they have Shaka, who's in a good form, Remo Freuler, who's good, and Manuel Akanji, who's good. Jan Summers still doing well.
Jaka's back in form.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They have Ricardo Rodriguez, who used to be a couple years ago was like top tier. Now I'd say he's kind of not doing as well as he was.
Yeah.
But yeah, Shaka's in form. If they can get him, he could do something. And then Jabril So, who's actually really good. He plays for Frankfurt, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Eintracht.
All right. Yeah, we can do a quick prediction who wins this group. I'm gonna go with still Brazil, Switzerland, 1-2.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
What do you think?
Oh, I think Brazil's getting through. I'm almost positive, and I think Serbia has a really good chance. Even though,
that game between Serbia and Switzerland is gonna be good.
yeah, exactly. I think the Brazil Serbia game was a little unfortunate for Serbia because it like countered all their strengths.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that they'll do well against Switzerland. They might have trouble against Cameroon. We'll see.
Yeah. All right, Group H. We got Portugal at top, South Korea, Uruguay, and Ghana.
Yeah,
South
this is
Korea,
for sure.
Uruguay has 1-1 or each point. Ghana has 0 points. Portugal has 3. The games tomorrow. There. South Korea, Ghana, and Portugal, Uruguay.
Dude, this is kind of funny because South Korea Ghana has like some of my favorite players. I keep saying this. I actually like a lot of the Ghana players. They have a guy named Iñaki Williams who plays for Athletic Bilbao. His brother Nico Williams is playing on the Spanish national team. And then they have Thomas Partey, who's playing for Arsenal, but he was an Athletic Madrid guy. And Daniel Amarte and Andre Ayew. Like, they have a good team. And Mohamed Salisu. Like, those are good players. It just,
Gosh.
going against like I can't even say his name, Heung-min Son. And they like Korea has some really good players. I don't know like what's going on because I feel like there should be some other players that are playing, but they have some really good players.
Kim Jin-soo, that sounds familiar. Oh.
Then you look at the club he plays for, and you're
Yeah,
like,
look at club. Oh, wait a minute.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Portugal. I'm like, how are they not doing? I mean, they won a game.
They're not looking good at all. We
But they're
didn't
not
talk
looking
about
good.
them, but they're not looking good at all.
Because they got like Ronaldo's not in form. I'm pretty sure Felix is not in form.
João Felix, he always looks good, but he just hasn't been close enough in front of goal. Like, he's been playing like a midfielder role, both for Athletic Madrid and for Portugal.
Yeah, and then Bruno Fernandes, he's not in form of Manchester United. I'm pretty sure nobody on Manchester United's in form besides like Luke Shaw. So,
dude, I've said this before. I know this is a sidebar, but I've said this before. If your goalkeeper is the man of the match and the player of the year, that's not a good team.
It's not a good sign.
Yeah.
Bernardo Silva, he's in form though. He's still looking good, and Diaz looking good, and Diaz and Cancelo. Those.
You know the reason Portugal like really won that last one though is because of that Athletic or that AC Milan player. What's his name? He came on late and just like
Rafael Leao, yeah, he's really good. He's exciting.
Yeah, so the thing is like Portugal can be great, but they're sticking by a falling star, and they need to let that star fall.
Just like Man U did.
Yeah,
them fall.
Real Madrid got rid of him at the right time. I told them to, and they did. Real Madrid said it's time, move on. I just hope they don't take him back.
That's the rumor. The rumor. All right. Quick predictions for the group.
Yeah. You go first, yeah.
Uruguay is not looking that well either. So.
Dude, they haven't had offense in the last like 2 World Cups. They looked good 2010, and they haven't looked good since.
Honestly, I think Portugal, South Korea. I think South Korea is going to get through.
South Korea is good. Yeah. I think I want Uruguay and South Korea, but I think it's going to be someone else. But I'll say Uruguay and South Korea because that's who I want. I think it's going to be Portugal and Ghana, but I want Uruguay, South Korea.
Yeah. I think Uruguay is a lot like Portugal if you look at it.
Mm-hmm.
They have a lot of good talent, but they don't click for some reason.
Yeah, and they got to move on Luis Suarez. They played both Luis Suarez and Edinson Cavani.
Yeah.
And I understand that you might not like your striker options, but that's not helping. Like, they're not putting pressure on the back line like you need your striker to.
Yeah. Agreed.
Let me tell you, if you put the ball in the box, if you put the ball in the box like 10 times a game, Luis Suarez would have 3 goals even now. But if the ball's not in the box, it doesn't matter what you're doing, and Luis Suarez isn't helping. So sorry Uruguay, but you got to change your tactics.
Yep. Agreed. All right, guys. So that's going to wrap up the show here. Let's do last thoughts, David.
Okay, I said this in the beginning.
World Cup games.
We are in the World Cup. This is the best time of the year. It's not in the summer. It's a different time of the year. But guess what? That meant over Thanksgiving, I was watching World Cup games.
Oh yeah, that was the best.
Yeah. I'm like, okay.
I'm not sure if everybody else experienced that, but sitting down watching like World Cup games and eating Thanksgiving dinner, that was like the best feeling ever.
Yeah, I was like,
this
maybe
is
this
way
is better
better
than
than
I thought.
football.
Yeah, I was like, so one of my buddies said that, you know, he's disappointed because usually what happens is the season goes to an end, you have a big break, and then the World Cup comes. So like that break lets you get all excited for the World Cup.
Mhm.
So maybe people weren't as excited about it now, but I'm into it now,
Mhm.
and I'm loving it. And I hope that the games just stay crazy. My last thought is just be aware of these groups. There's so much writing on every game. It's going to be nuts.
So much going down.
So watch them and enjoy that. That's my advice. Watch them and be like, oh man, the stress, and like just so many fans just so excited about the World
Yeah.
Cup. I love it. They're like, this is the world just like coming together for soccer.
Oh yeah.
So I'm sorry for all the Americans that watched football on Thanksgiving, but this is what it's about.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And there's 4 games on a day, so you can have your phone running from like 8 in the morning until like 3 o'clock or like 4 o'clock in the evening. So
Yeah,
that's
and in mountain time, it's 3 in the morning till like
okay.
3 in the evening.
So it's more doable on the East Coast.
Yeah.
All right, guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you like and comment, subscribe to our YouTube page, and we'll see you guys next time.